Okay, so I want to clear something up that a lot of people talk about, and I hear this all the time. Everybody is always talking about what's the best martial art for the street. And a lot of times when you hear this debate amongst people and on the internet or in gyms, it's usually a certain person taking their biased fucking opinion regarding the martial art that they practice and preaching it how it's the best martial art and how it's so much better than all the others. Now, the truth is that there is no best martial art for the street, but there is pros and cons for certain martial arts that can be used for the street. Now, the reason you can't directly compare these martial arts is because they were all made at different times for different purposes. Now, for instance, you take Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. It's one of the more newer martial arts that has proven effective in a street fight because of the Gracies and Royce Gracie's videos of beating people up using jiu-jitsu from different styles. Now, the only thing is Brazilian jiu-jitsu has evolved into a more sport type of practice. Not that there's not serious gyms left that practice the self-defense system, but for the most part, there's a lot of the sport existing in today's society. So, Brazilian jiu-jitsu deals with grappling, quite obviously, for anyone who knows a bit about it. And a con of them is that they do not practice strikes traditionally as much as something like boxing or a striking style. Some of the combative type of gyms that are left may practice striking and how to neutralize a striker to take them down to make it a grappling situation, but especially the sport type of gyms out there now don't even deal with a single strike or teach you how to even defend a strike. So for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a good attribute about them is that they can deal with grappling to take down a striker and neutralize them. And now you must understand is that in a grappling situation, two human beings can only be into so many different positions. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu breaks down each of those positions and teaches how to effectively always be one step ahead of your opponent to get the better position, which I personally believe is very fucking important for a street fight. If someone gets on top of you, you have to know how to get them off and get to a better position. And it's kind of like the Gracies say, as long as you practice bad positions won't exist. If I said that right, I'm not even sure. But it's something along those lines, and it's very true. Now, you take something like Krav Maga, which is the bigger martial art people think of when you say self-defense. Now, they deal with a lot of weapons and stuff of that nature, which is good if you want to take your self-defense to that extreme on a life or death scale. But not everybody always wants to learn self-defense in that sense. Some people just want to learn how to defend themselves to boost their confidence on a, let's say, street fighting level. So Krav Maga, for instance, a lot of people will preach that they have very deadly tactics. But to be completely honest, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is not much less, if more deadly. Choking someone out and breaking their limb is a lot worse than kicking someone in the knee or kicking someone in the balls. Now, and also, I just want to clear up, deadly strikes that you'll learn in Krav Maga classes can be effective, but I want to take boxing into this mix too, because boxing or any type of striking art, if you practice on a weekly basis, you will know how it feels to eat strikes. You will know how it feels to see strikes coming at you. Whereas you can practice all the deadly Krav Maga based strikes you want, but if you're not actually sparring and using these strikes, you're not going to ever be able to use them as effectively in a street fight situation. I'm not saying you won't be able to use them, but it's not the same as, let's say, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner who's on the mat 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. He gets in a street fight and he's practicing how to take the back, rear naked choke. He's practicing this stuff every day. It's not this. You need to be able to practice in a way that's safe, but you can actually do on a daily basis. Now, that brings me to say, in my humble opinion and just facts, you look at World Star Hip Hop, all these videos on the internet of people getting knocked out. Sometimes the most effective way to beat someone in a fight is just hitting them with a hard punch to the face and knocking them out. So not saying that a lot of deadly techniques involving striking will work, but if, in my humble opinion and from what I've seen, if you're trying to neutralize someone with eye gouges and groin shots and kicks to the knee, and their intention is to knock you out, I'm sorry, but they're going to knock you out. As long as you know how to defend yourself from punches. So if you're boxing every day, at least you know how to defend yourself and defend strikes properly and know how to counter. So you might ask now, what am I trying to get at here? What I'm trying to say is the best martial art for the street is a good blend of Krav Maga to deal with weapons, but Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to realistically get you out of bad positions in a street fight. And then just throw in some boxing and striking in there maybe once a week so that you can just know how it feels to see strikes coming at you. That's the great part about a lot of these MMA gyms nowadays. A lot of them are commercials and are a little bit on the bullshit side, but at least you can go pay for one gym and get multiple different programs that you can use. You know, you don't have to pay money to go to a boxing gym for 1 day a week and go to jiu-jitsu for the other days and a Krav Maga. You can maybe just get like a little bit of all the worlds. If I had to break down it percentage-wise, I would say 50% of your training should go to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. A good maybe 10% should go to some kind of striking, and maybe the other 30%, or fuck, I counted wrong, I'm a fucking idiot. The rest can go to like weapons and being a little more deadly with your strikes, but don't get too crazy. And like what I'm trying to say is you got to think realistic. You know, you look at UFC, there's not a lot of deadly strikes allowed there, but that's the most realistic man-to-man combat sport that we have today. And the certain arts like Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu that have proved to be effective there, I mean, let's be honest, those are the most effective arts. It's proven right there in stone. You know, you hear a lot of guys talk about, oh, like, I have the answer, I have the most deadly strike, I can kill someone. If they've never fucking done it, odds are they're bullshitting you, or they just don't have the real training to actually use that in a real fight. Where you look at any Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, they're tapping guys out on a daily basis. They're getting tapped on a daily basis. They know how it feels to honestly be choked and have to escape. It may be simulated with tap outs, but they're still practicing it on a daily basis. Someone who knows how to disarm a gun with some deadly strike to the face, they're not doing that on a daily basis, because even if it did exist, they're not able to hurt their training partner in some severe way that sends them to the hospital. Tap outs are safe. You can practice jiu-jitsu and boxing with proper gear without hurting each other. You don't even have to be an amazing athlete to do this. This training regimen I'm explaining can be done on a weekly basis by anybody that's non-athletic and will get you results that you can defend yourself in the street. That's my opinion. That's what I think is the best way to defend yourself in the street. A mixture of those few different components that I've said. Anything, there's a lot of other stuff, but I really just think that's what I've seen. A lot, you're going to see a lot of bullshit out there. Don't buy people's bullshit. Don't think that, one style's the best. Like, if you're a wrestler, you're going to take anyone down and fuck them up. If you're a boxer, you're going to knock them out. You got to look at factual information, the internet, the street fight videos that show what really goes down in the fucking street, the octagon and UFC, you know? Okay, and that's it.